Back on Sports 225, where I remind you, you can always go to sports225.com to have so much fun by reading the Swag blog, which I don't write nearly enough, but I did do a recap of my 2013 and a look ahead to 2014, and there's even some stuff in there about sports. And we list all the show times, which include being on Cox 4 and CST, the regional sports network. And I don't know about you guys, but when I see myself in full HD on a 52-inch TV, it kind of scares me, especially on that really early morning airing. Ben Love is here. He's from TigerSportsDigest.com, and Shea Dixon from GEAUX247.com. And I invited them to come on for the whole hour and just talk stuff. So when last I saw you, gentlemen, actually, the last time I saw you was sometime during the regular football season.
Right.
Yeah. The last time I saw you was at LSU basketball, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. So full disclaimer, a couple things. Number one, we're taping this on Tuesday. We are putting this in the can before the Tuesday afternoon La'el Collins news conference, in which we expect that he will not be one of the multitudes going to the NFL from LSU. It is also before the Wednesday night LSU at Ole Miss basketball game, which is a good thing for Shea because he doesn't want to talk any hoops, but harder for Ben because we'll be surmising things about LSU hoops, but that's okay. And did I clear all that up good?
I think everything's moving forward well.
Those are good disclaimers.
Okay.
Look, tell the people we're going to talk some stuff that is true, though, at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll speculate.
Let's start by recent past. We'll talk some football. So you guys both went to the LSU at Iowa game. Last week I had Luke Johnson on from Tiger Rag. We talked about a little bit about that, but let's talk about LSU Iowa. Thoughts?
For starters, I think that they played a pretty conservative game plan, which I think with a freshman quarterback in the rain is what most people expected. I know most media members kind of expected that they would go into that one and not let Jennings lose it for him and not really expect him to win it for him, but, you know, ride hill and play good defense. And I thought the game was kind of an odd atmosphere. There weren't many people there. It had been raining, so
was the stadium
early morning,
like not sold out?
There were only tight shots on the you know, on ESPN that day. I mean, if they would have shown any wide shots, the crowd, there was no crowd.
Really?
I mean, more than 25,000, I'd be surprised.
That'd be stretching it.
Really? Yeah. I did not know that.
And
it was
the majority
a rainy,
Iowa
messy
fans.
day. And so, you know, if LSU only sold whatever it was, 6,000, 6,500,
right.
Iowa obviously sold more, but all the casual fans that lived in that area, maybe fans that have Tampa Bay Bucks tickets, they woke up and it was raining. They weren't there, you know, so it was sparsely
Now, was that
attended.
game part of the Tampa Bay Bucks package by chance? The way you said that made me think, because I wonder
I don't believe so.
You know, I wonder
don't
what a
think
ticket,
so.
like if a walk-in for somebody from Tampa, what they paid for a ticket for that.
But I'll tell you, I mean, look, I mean, we were all staying, you know, near each other in the same chain of hotels. I mean, everybody that we saw, Iowa fans, that was down there inside the stadium, Iowa. I mean, so it was not a, you know, it wasn't a hostile environment, but it wasn't a home-friendly environment for LSU either.
I've been there a couple of times. The '99 Final Four was there in what used to be called the Thunderdome. Now they call it the Tropicana Dome, which is truly one of the worst baseball stadiums and venues in all of sports. And Tampa and St. Pete are not near each other. You know, they're adjacent, but it's not like you get there real easy. Did you guys get out and about? Maybe hit Clearwater Beach?
We did not do that.
No.
No.
We got out and about, though.
You know.
Yeah, we found some places, just not the beach you speak of.
None of which I'm going to ask them to share. So anyway, Ben Love, LSU, Iowa?
I echo, I think, a lot of what Shea said, but I'll take, I guess, one of the positive spins on it would be the defense. You know, the defense, to me, played their best game of the year against Johnny Manziel and Texas A&M. Against the challenged Florida offense, they played pretty well, too. But it was a complete effort against Iowa. Now, full disclaimer here, Iowa's offense was horrible. Could not move the football, unimaginative. I think they were just as conservative as LSU. So the 14 points they get basically come off a pick six that the guy honey badgers at the goal line, but they get it in the next play.
Ooh, honey badgers as a verb.
Yeah, you got to do it. And
Yeah.
then the kickoff return that sets them up in prime territory late. So the defense played one of their top 2 or 3 most complete games. I think that's a positive thing for those guys that are returning. I mean, you started 2 true freshman cornerbacks. You moved a guy like Jalen Mills back to safety. So some things that they can build on toward next year. I thought that was good. Jamie Keene, punting-wise, played his best game of the year. So they played pretty well in 2 of the 3 phases. I just think offensively, like Shea said, they kept it conservative. And they gave one last subtle reminder to Mr. Fournette, who was going to make his decision the next day, that this is what it can look like when we have a lead back and when we hand it to him 28 times a game.
first time, though, in recent memory where an LSU back got to get the ball and pound away. Like, you know, when I was a kid, way back when, there used to be two things that were prevalent in sports. One was running backs who got the ball lots of times, you know, 25, 30, 35 times a game. It's so rare that you see that. It happened finally with Auburn.
Charles Alexander just has to laugh at what happens
exactly.
these days, right?
The other is pitchers got to throw complete games. They didn't get to 100 pitches and go, okay, sit down. That was it. Relief pitchers actually threw more than 2 pitches every 3 days, you know, and stuff. Oh, he's a closer. He can't come in the 8th inning. And that was a really good thing to see. Now, your brain's spinning on that one.
No, I was just thinking back on, I think that had, yes, 25, 30 touches a game for a guy like Hill and potentially a guy like Fournette is something you would love because they do something with it every carry. But at the same time, when the offense is clicking with Mettenberger, you know, they haven't had to rely on a 25 touchback. You know, they can give Hill 15, 18, give McGee 7 or 8. McGee averages 6 yards a carry anyways. But had Mettenberger played in that Iowa game, I wouldn't have been surprised if LSU would have won by 3 touchdowns. I mean, they didn't ever test them in the air.
And 8 or 10 less Jeremy Hill carries.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's instant production there. So I just think their game plan is what made it close, and they expected it and knew they could, you know, kind of grind it out until the very end and pull away.
They consented to go full Big Ten mode in that game. They played a Big Ten game with a Big Ten team.
No, absolutely. And
it
you're
was
right.
not fun to watch until the end.
Yeah, there were a number of things to take from it. Number one is, like you said, LSU wasn't going to put itself in a position where Anthony Jennings was going to lose the game. And number two, they were going to ride the big back, which I'm a big fan of. And that whole so-called conservative nature made a lot of sense there. Now, I also maintain, and this was, Jennings really, really struggled. I mean, he couldn't have thrown the ball into the ocean from the edge of the pier, as they say, and then never took off and ran and just, you know, looked dazed and confused like a freshman. He had tons of time. And there were two things about that. One is he had tons of time to do a lot of things that he just couldn't do, and then that Hill ran for the way he did. I thought, leaving the game, watching it, that the LSU offensive line played by far its best game of the season. So I was fully taken aback when Greg Studwalla, the offensive line coach, got fired or resigned to pursue other options. That took me aback. You guys taken surprised by that? And also, part of the other full disclaimer for this, since we are going on Tuesday, it's very possible by the time you watch this, LSU will have announced a new offensive line coach. We could just be left in the dust on every current event. But yeah, go ahead.
I think it was probably just he had tallied up enough, you know, of the con check marks over the years. I don't think it had anything to do with. I don't think a great Iowa game or a great couple games prior to that, you know, would have saved his ultimate fate, considered how it played out. I think a big thing too is they want someone who can not only develop guys who, you know, end up being NFL caliber players, so that when you recruit kids, you can say, listen, we're producing X amount of offensive linemen in the NFL, but also someone who can get out there and really relate and recruit, you know, a lot of these offensive tackles. A guy like Cam Robinson got out of state this year, widely considered the #1 offensive tackle in the country. So I think it's probably just a combination of things over the years, but that's just my opinion.
I see every point he just made, and I agree with it, but I would add another thing, that this is kind of bottom line, but you can't not recognize it. The guy's making what? He was making $550,000 a year? Okay, so Studwalla got that promotion and got that bump when he was moved up to offensive coordinator. Still maintain that salary. For that amount of money, you better have a guy that can get the elite talent in, so the recruiting aspect of it, develop it, and have more to show, like Shea said, as far as NFL skins on the wall. So to me, I think it was at least partially a financial decision. If we're going to spend this much money, we need to get a guy who can do all those things. Or maybe we can find somebody else that'll take a little bit less money, and it kind of balances things out. So it wasn't a complete financial decision, but there's no doubt that the guy was making more than he was proving his worth to be.
Yeah. No, all your points are well taken. I'm a big Stud fan, and I really enjoy the time I got to visit with him, and I got to know the family and wish them all well. And he's a great football guy, so I hope he ends up somewhere good. You guys, hold on. We'll take a break. And I want to ask you about, I guess, Leonard Fournette when we get back. You've seen him play?
Is he going to play?
No, you've seen him play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. Yeah, big kid, runs fast.
He's going to play.
Yeah, I know he is, especially now. It's Sports 225. Ben Love is here. Shea Dixon. I'm Lee Feinswag. We'll be right back.